हमारे जो GAV स्कूल के बच्चे हैं who have presented a welcome song in the morning from the same school. Now we have got the children who are going to present the cultural evening. So they are going to present some dance activities over here on the stage after this session that we are going to initiate now. And this is Plenary 6, STEM for Sustainability, Innovating a Greener Tomorrow. So for this, I would like to invite on the galaxy over here on the dais. The moderator is going to be Mr. Dilip Surkar, Executive Director, Vikram A. Sarabhai Community Science Center, Ahmedabad. Please put your hands together for him. I request you, sir, to please join us over here on the stage. Welcome. Among the eminent panelists, please join me in welcoming Dr. Kiran Bhujan, Director, Ministry of Tertiary Education and Scientific Research, Government of Mauritius. Please put your hands together for her. And again, I would like to invite on Ms. Sharizad Dhalan, Director, ISTIS, UNESCO, Malaysia. I request you also to again join us in this session as well. I also request Dr. Tabassum Jamal, Chairperson ZSF New Delhi, to please join us on the dais. Please put your hands together for the welcome. I request Mr. Aunali Rupani, Founder, Arm Research, Ohio, USA, to please join us on the dais. Please put your hands together for the welcome. Among the eminent panelists, we also have with us Dr. Swapna Gurla, Research Scientist, Department of Pharmacology, University of Medicine and Dentistry, Rutgers University, New Jersey, USA. Dr. Swapna Gurla, I request you to please join us on the stage. Let's have a round of applause for all the eminent panelists over here. तालियों में थोड़ा सा जोर होगा तो you will be enjoying this session much more. Thank you so much. With this now, I would like to hand over this session's mic to the moderator, who is the Executive Director at Vikram A. Sarabhai Community Science Center, Ahmedabad, Mr. Dilip Surkar. So, sir, I would like to hand over it to you. Let's have a huge round of applause for him.
Thank you so much. After such a power-packed, long day, if you still have patience to listen to us, hats off to you.
Sir, I would say they have the excitement to listen.
Oh, thank you. It's a nice coincidence that today we have this conference coinciding with 75th birthday of our Honorable Prime Minister. And why I said it, so let's begin with wishing him happy birthday once again. And why I mentioned is our Prime Minister and India has made several commitments towards NDC and SDGs, which has huge scope for green jobs, and STEM education particularly has a huge role to play in it. It is my privilege to welcome you all to this Plenary 6, STEM for Sustainability, Innovating a Greener Tomorrow, as a part of this 7th ICSE. The theme for this year's conference is both very timely and urgent. Around the world, two powerful forces are shaping our future. One is artificial intelligence and another is climate change. Artificial intelligence is automating the jobs at an unprecedented pace, reducing conventional employment opportunity, and the climate change is reshaping our economies, societies, and ecosystems, demanding urgent adaptation and mitigation. These dual challenges also bring dual opportunities. While AI is disrupting traditional jobs, the green transition is opening millions of new ones in renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, electric mobility, water and waste management, circular economy, and many more. In this context, STEM education, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, it must be reimagined and repurposed. It must prepare our learners not only for today's career, but also the green jobs of tomorrow, which will define India's path to Viksit Bharat 2047 and our net zero 2070 ambition, which are actually part of India's Panchamrit towards climate action. STEM is more than just a collection of subjects. It is an approach of learning that builds critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving. When we integrate sustainability in STEM, we move towards green STEM. This means equipping our young people with skills, imagination, mindset to design solutions for climate resilience and low carbon futures. From India's solar mission and rapid EV adaptation to blue flag certified beaches, driving sustainable tourism, and climate smart agriculture securing our food systems, green opportunities are expanding across the country and around the world. To seize them, we need a workforce that is skilled, inspired, and future ready. So this plenary, our plenary, will explore how STEM education can power sustainability, spark green innovations, and most importantly, prepare our youth for meaningful livelihoods in green economy. We are privileged to have with us an outstanding panel of experts who will bring diverse perspective and experiences from education, science, research, and innovation. So let me quickly introduce our panel. I will not read out their detailed bios. I was supposed to do that, but since it is quite late, so their detailed bios are quite exhaustive, very illustrious. So let me introduce, we have with us Dr. Kiran Bujun, Director, Ministry of Tertiary Education and Scientific Research, Government of Mauritius. So may I first invite Dr. Bujun to share his thoughts on the subject.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you for still being here with us. I want you to imagine something. Imagine 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters is not like this. 3 millimeters is somewhere here. But every year, the sea level rises by 3 millimeters. Might not be much, but statistics and forecasting methods have shown that by 2050, 10% of SIDS, Small Island Development State, from which I also come, will lose 10% of their coastal areas. What does that mean? That means that each of these islands is going to lose 10% of their ecological footprint, 10% of their economical land because 10% of their beaches will be gone, and then this is something that people do not realize is with rise in water level, there's going to be loss or there's going to be an impact on the political aspect of it. Why? Because when water rises, the area of the territory decreases, and with that comes a decrease in sovereignty. And decrease in sovereignty for a small island development state means less of the marine blue environment, blue territory. This is one. And we do not think that, and I'm saying this from a higher education perspective, we do not think that just building sea walls is going to be a solution to that. I'll give you another solution, another situation from my own country again. Global warming. Global warming is causing in Mauritius right now a proliferation of algae. Lots and lots of algae being produced, many of them now floating to the surface to have access to sunlight, and then getting deposited on the beach. Again, what's that causing? A decrease in the beach area, decrease in the interest of tourists, decrease in the touristic income, and affecting the global, the national economy. So what do we do about this? What I've thought is that, and this is something that we're discussing in Mauritius, that STEM, I'm just taking this to as example, STEM cannot be just about people in science. It has to be more than that. What can we do, and how can we ensure that STEM is in fact a catalyst to a paradigm shift? And we believe this can happen in 3 ways. One is to create awareness about sustainability and about protection of environment from early age. We do not need to be in secondary school, in higher education for this to happen. It has to happen as early as possible. That's one. Second is we need to create a mindset in our different level of academics or different level of teachers that it is not about creating people for a job. It is creating people who can find solutions to societal problems. And that is by bringing people together across sectors, not just STEM. Across sectors, make everybody work together to find solution. And third, and most important, I think, is we need to be able to ensure that whatever us scientists do, whatever comes out of this conference as recommendation, can be taken up by policymakers. And there's therefore, I think, an urgent need for strong science diplomacy, for us to be able to convert the scientific jargon that we speak and we understand, and make sure that the leaders, the policymakers, also understand this in a simpler form, so that at the end of the day, we create leaders who are able to take our ideas and may put that into action. Therefore, I think that STEM should be the stepping stone, the first step of that long journey that we can all, that will bring all of us together towards a better future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bhujan. Thank you for reminding us that STEM should be the stepping stone, and it is actually mentioned in our national education policy. Now, may I invite our second panelist, Ms. Shariza Dahalan. She is the Director of International Science, Technology and Innovation Center for South-South Cooperation under the auspices of UNESCO Malaysia. Ma'am, if you could share your thoughts on how STEM, sustainability and green jobs are interconnected.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. What I'm going to share again with you is actually from this perspective, from the lens of our organization. So we have all the experts here. I'm not going to give you the stats. I'm not going to give you the data. I'm not going to give you that. But I'm just going to do just three things, just this street reality check. Because for us, when you do this, what do you call that, STEM for sustainability, what is the real challenge? I know that someone said that you shouldn't be talking about challenge, but you have to understand what is the real challenge in this area. For us, is actually the central challenge is whether it's not whether we believe STEM. I mean, it's important. We know that. We all know that. But the real challenge is in connecting the dots, in aligning what is taught in classrooms and what is needed in green labor markets, and ensuring that policy and investment framework support this transformation. So the real question is not whether we have done enough STEM. We have, I think the initiatives are everywhere. We have hackathons, we have competitions, we have workshops, we have everything. So, but again, this real challenge, are these efforts aligned? Are these efforts coherent? Are these efforts connected to the skills and opportunities of the green economy? So unless we bridge this gap, we risk producing graduates without pathway, we risk having industries without skilled workers, and we risk that policies without grounded implementation. So what we're going to bring you, so we have this fragmentation between education, labor markets, and policy, so you need to understand that. And secondly, we need to highlight what, we have all this global framework. Coming from UNESCO Category 2 Center, we would like to share. We have all the frameworks. We have all these beautiful policies. We have not just Malaysia, Mauritius, India. We have this. We have everything in place. And again, being a UNESCO Category 2, of course, I have to talk about UNESCO's framework. So we have the Education for Sustainable Development, ESD 2030. We have Greening Education, Greening Education Platform, the GEP, and we have everything. So, but they provide this. So they provide these guidelines. But you only have this, but these are just guiding principles. So these frameworks and principles are powerful, but I have to say this, but implementation is very uneven. So there's no one size fits all. Every country faces different challenges. So you need to contextualize that. because different levels of economic, different labor market, we have different cultural, educational traditions. So without adaptation to local realities, so this global framework risking just aspirational. So this is the second point that I'm just going to share. And coming back to what we are doing, because we are a community, we are a platform. Even though we are not funders, but we do this, we catalyze things. So from our perspective, because at the end of this conference, you're going to come, I remember that we say that there's a call to action. When the conference ends, what will happen? There's a lot of ROI, we need to know our ROV into this conference. There's a lot of investment that goes into this. So at the end of the day, when the call to action comes, and exactly how you're going to do your initiative, there's something has to come out from this. So when this is what I'm going to share with you. What is the DNA of a really, what do you call that? Successful, impactful initiative. So I just want to share you this. So from our perspective, and more broadly in this international development education, these are the key elements. So this is what we need to remind you. Because people come to you to do a lot of things. It's all about coming together, and these are 8 points that I would like to share. So when you design initiative, when you leave this conference, when you want to do something or you want to leverage on your partners, these are the first things that you do. You have to have a clear intent and objective. So you have to start with why. So what problem are you solving? For whom is what expected change? And secondly, you need policy relevance and alignment. So the initiative should connect to the national priorities and global framework. So you need to be able to influence the global narrative at the same time. So you need to have a robust design implementation. You need to have sustainability, because you need to plan beyond your pilot. Because how will your initiative continue after the initial funding or initial financing or partners leave? So who owns that locally? And fifth, you need to have the scalability and replicability. And sixth, you have the impact and measurement. I cannot because time is running. So 7 is equity and inclusion, and 8 is effective communication. So communication is very important. So what message that I would end with my intervention is, whatever that you do, you need to think. So who are we doing this for? Of course, we are doing this for your children, for your grandchildren. So that is something that you need to remember. And also something that at the end of the day, we have all these expert panelists here with their flashy iPads and everything. But if you can tell, if you talk about green jobs, if you are able to tell a grandmother in a village why her granddaughter should take up a green job, if you can convince her, then you know that you are doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dalan. Thank you for your message that policy and framework is essential but not the sufficient condition. Now, I would like to invite our next panelist, Dr. Tabassum Jamal. She is the chairperson of Zahir Science Foundation. Dr. Tabassum has served the CSIR NISCPR, a premier society policy research institute, under CSRI, Government of India, for over 30 years. So, ma'am, if you could share your thoughts about this subject.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And without wasting any more time, because we're already pausing, the time, I would say that fully endorse the thoughts what Dr. Shailijat just now shared. Before that, what Dr. Kiran has already shared with us, because there is no point of repeating things, but to talk about the implementation and the action points. So there are certain points where we have to sit together again. It's not that after this conference, our duty is over. So whatever recommendations are going to be placed tomorrow, we have to take them seriously. And my one submission, very serious submission, is that since we talk about these activities, pan-India programs about popularization of science and popularization of STEM education and so many other initiatives, but I think none of us have focused on that, what is the outcome of that in totality. And as in the morning, in his special address, Mr. Parveen Garg also mentioned that this is the 7th edition of Mobius Foundation Sustainable Greening Education. So it is not just to have this event and having good time for 2-3 days, but it is that to take back that what we said last year and how we have come to this year. So that kind of a thing is really, really required. So whatever was, discussed in the last event, 6th edition, maybe our duty is that we try to bring those back, that how far we have come in whatever capacities. So one submission is that, and if we document all that and we give them number, because if you quantify something, then you can always, if you measure something, you can always improve on that. I think that, whatever is measurable, it is improvable. So if we think in those lines, that whatever we, take away from this or any other event, on that we should really focus, then only we can say that yes, we have done so much. Coming back to my own institution where I'm coming from, Zahir Science Foundation, because as Dr. Sharizad also mentioned in her last address, that who we are, what we do, that also we want to tell you. Zahir Science Foundation is a think tank. This was established way back in 1970 by none other than Zahir Sahab, Dr. Syed Hussain Zahir, who was a nation builder, freedom fighter, and an innovative change maker. And he was Director General of CSIR during 1962 to 66. So this foundation is founded by him just to give that slogan that science is for society. Science is not for shelves. So having said that, what this foundation is doing, that science diplomacy, what Dr. Kiran just mentioned, that is one area where we all should focus our initiatives, that science diplomacy is not just to say the science, how science get popularized and how things are getting in science, but that critical thinking and that scientific temperament that we have to build. Then only I think we can imagine for a better sustainable society. So that is one of the things which Zahir Science Foundation focuses on, and our mandate basically is to disseminate information on the latest information on S&T development. And because he was, Dr. Syed Hussain Zahir, he himself was an advocate of self-reliance during that time. So now we talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat, and I must again, as you rightly said, that today we are celebrating the birthday of our Prime Minister. So on that day also I will say that we will strongly take that message of self-reliant India, where we all can put our hands together with the cooperation for whatever way we can do. Then only you can think about that, yes, we can survive or we can do some good thing in this time, in the current time. So coming back to CSIR, because I served CSIR for 36 years, so, and this Zahir Science Foundation is again an offshoot of CSIR. So it is, my talk or my dialogue cannot be complete without mentioning CSIR. CSIR is premier scientific organization, and it has 39 laboratories pan-India, and all the laboratories, they work seamlessly on different technology innovations and development part. So what ZSF do, we do a lot of dissemination conferences nationally, internationally, but then we do program for school children also, that is under the Jigyasa banner. And again, I will say that our Prime Minister has given this lead, the initiative to take Jigyasa program, which CSIR has been doing very religiously. Up till now, I think some 3,500 events have been done by CSIR. And what we did differently at Zahir Science Foundation, because every lab conducts programs to invite students. It's a Student Scientist Connect program. So the students are free to ask any question or to explore their curiosity, because now we are talking about the curiosity and critical thinking and thinking out of the box. So that visit or that program provides opportunity to school children to talk with scientists directly and they feel empowered. They feel so, full of emotions, and they are very happy. So what we did last year, that we invited the 3 labs to Delhi, because taking children was difficult. Kendriya Vidyalaya and few other schools, it was a challenging task to take children to different places so that they can learn different technology, or they can see the labs, they should know that what CSIR is doing. Many of us here also don't know what CSIR is. I don't wonder that. So what we did, that many scientists we brought here at Zahir Science Foundation, and then there was a full day program for these school children, and I mean the kind of excitement and the kind of questions we had, that was something, I really appreciated, and I think we'll be doing those kind of programs at our center in future also. Here I will simply say that Dr. Shailaja is sitting right there. She is from IICT Hyderabad, and IICT Hyderabad, that lab was founded by founder director by Syed Hussain Zahir. So she recently did one hackathon event, which can be a good example for giving this creative thinking and the outcome of what we are talking about. So I will end it here. If the time permits, then she may speak afterwards for little giving examples. So I'll end it here, and I think that we will try to do the actionable part.
Sure.
Action research, I think that is the need of the hour. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jamal. I completely agree with you that we need to focus on outcomes, not just outputs. Otherwise, it may not add up to our vision to achieve conservation. Now, may I invite our next panelist, Mr. Aunali Rupani. He is the director of ARM Research Private Limited. He is head of Discover Openness Foundation. He happens to be trustee of Indian Development Foundation, and he is also the founder of Companionship EduTech Foundation. So, sir, may I invite you to share your experiences and how you connect STEM education and green jobs.
First of all, divinity in me bows to divinity in all of you. Thank you, Dr. Ram and Dr. Shelja, for inviting me here. As humans, we were not born with a manual. So what happened to us was we picked up a lot of beliefs and habits. That's how we continued our journey. Now let's see how far we've come as human race. If you see in this human body, sometimes there comes a cell or group of cells who don't listen to you, who do not perform the daily functions. In fact, they feed on the same very cells around, and these cells are called cancer cells. This human race is nothing but group of cancer cells. This has been our journey. So what does STEM does? What STEM does is it eradicates limiting beliefs, expired beliefs, and value subtracting beliefs. Basically, taking you in a place where things were unknown, and through your critical thinking, you learn and change your beliefs. So science and science education is very important. It helps to know who you are, and there are 3 stages. First, self-alignment, self-realization, and self-actualization. This has to be stemmed through science. Today's education system teaches you how the world operates, but it does not teach you how you operate. No wonder you become a cancer cell, and we have to talk about climate change today. Have you seen the animal kingdom? Have they littered anywhere? Have they spoiled the environment? What we have done as humans, with all the intellect and all the wisdom, right? The time has come that we give importance to STEM and scientific temperaments. So how do we advance further? This same question came to us in our foundation, and I was very happy that I got a chance to work with our president, Dr. APJ. His name is AP Jayaraman. And after quite of brainstorming, we realized that we have to target 5 areas. And the first area that we thought was that our science teachers or our computer science teachers have to now graduate as technology teachers. Because I say knowledge was power. Today, applying knowledge is power. In today's world of AI, ML, okay, blockchain, robotics, it's all applied technology. So teachers have to graduate to introduce these subjects. You don't have to teach them, but you have to introduce these subjects to young minds. This is the need of the hour. So what we did in our workshop, we do a whole day of workshop where we introduce how teachers can interact with instruments that become robots. And their myth is broken that now they can step up as technology teachers. So this myth has to be broken. Then the second important point that we realized was climate change and disaster management. Maybe our age was safe enough, but the next generation has to deal with disasters. They have to be ready for it. And if today's teachers don't teach them, how is the next generation going to be ready for it? It's our duty to do it. And I also tell the teachers that we should never address teacher as a teacher. They are actually transformers. They transform society. We need them. We need their help. So stop calling teachers teachers. Start giving them respect and dignity. Call them transformers of society. And what should a teacher do when she enters a class? She should drop the hat of being a teacher. She should become a senior student. Become one with the students. And when you become one with the students, that's where the true learning happens. Then we thought that what else could we do? Science communication was very essential. So only a science teacher should do science communication? No. Even the English teacher can communicate in science. Even the geography teacher can talk about space tech because she's equipped to talk about it. A biology teacher can talk about robotics and so on and so forth. If we inculcate science in these subjects, automatically science communication would happen. It cannot be treated as a different subject. It has to collaborate inside the curriculum. And only then the children would realize knowledge and applied knowledge. Going forward, we realize that science and technology, unfortunately, are double-edged swords. They've been misused. What has happened today that we have more white-collar criminals. The educated lot have become white-collar criminals because our education system somewhere has failed. So teaching them ethics in a STEM program was equally essential. And the last point that we helped teachers with was that instead of just checking papers, you are talented individuals. You have to participate into research programs. That's where CSIR came in, and we thought, let's introduce these teachers to CSIR, and they would pick up few research projects. If the teachers start showing curiosity, the same curiosity will then be taken to the class, and the children will become curious in science and technology. So these are the 5 steps that we took. We did a pilot of almost 7 or 8 events, and we trained 1,400 teachers, and let me tell you, we had amazing results. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that science and technology can be double-edged sword. In fact, today, AI has huge potential to address our problems of climate change. Okay. Thank you, sir. Now, may I invite our next panelist, Dr. Swapna Gurla. She is Senior Research Scientist at Pharmacology Department, Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, Rutgers University, New Jersey in the USA. So ma'am, may I invite you to share your experiences, your thoughts about STEM education, how we connect it with our policy, academia and action. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I should thank the Mobius Foundation and my dear friend Shailaja and Dr. Ram for inviting me here. I have been in the other part of the world for over 35 years. I have done a lot of research in drug development and a lot of in the structural biological studies. And as I was doing this, I have interacted with medical students, we interacted with a lot of people where advanced science was applied in order to find drugs for some sort of cancer pathways and all that. And as I was in parallel raising my kids, and I realized that kids this generation are very, very different from what we have been. The AI, the technology, we never knew what an email was. At least in the 90s, we were standing waiting for a chance to get a computer to sit for 10 minutes to check our email. Now we have 4 or 5 devices around us, and the children these days are very different. They are much smarter. Actually, they say the way you operate your remote control is inversely proportional to the age. So when we are trying to, our experiences are very valuable. We can transfer our experiences to them, but we can never dictate anything to them. I actually started initially it was a non-profit organization and eventually became a for-profit organization, where I started to talk to high school students, because that is the age where they transition in order to pick a career and a career pathway. And when I was looking at students, I found it very difficult to convince them why they have to study what they are studying. They didn't want to understand the times table, for example. They didn't want this. I have a calculator, why should I do that? Or if I ask them to memorize the periodic table or the names of certain elements in the periodic table, they say everything is in the palm of our hands. Why should we waste our brains for that? But where their thoughts are actually very valuable is they are tech savvy. And all we have to do is to show them what is the right path. We cannot say it's the right path again. It's only our experiences that probably we can narrate, like how our grandparents might have told us. And eventually, when I started to teach these students, I find that all the textbooks are now outdated. We cannot really teach what we learned as students. History, I know science is something like, and I don't want to take too much time, but when I was teaching chemistry, for example, I find that the students really don't want to know who Archimedes was or Aristotle was or Democritus was. They really don't care. We want to respect all the work they did, so we want to understand the history of the evolution of science. But all they want to know is, okay, you have a periodic table, you have your atomic structure, the electronic configuration written, and I know how to understand everything. So what I feel is, when we are trying to get these students to do STEM education, we want them to really address the future problems of the world. Because when I saw the video, I had a suggestion. The person who was blindfolded was walking towards the edge of the cliff. What we didn't realize is the cliff is also deteriorating as a function of time. It's, the person is walking very confidently, but they have to know that this is going backwards too. So there are a lot of things happening right now where we don't want to protect the youngsters. We don't want to hide the fact that we have done everything to ruin the earth, and now we are leaving something for them to fix. And this is something that I think has to come with revised lesson plans. And that is something that I had tried developing. There are a lot of resources available. There is something called Open Science Ed, where you have how we are trying. Actually, it was very, very enlightening to me the whole day. When I was listening to each of the sessions, I was very, very impressed, because I did not really keep track of so much that's happening here in this country. And when I saw all the talks are amazing and the thoughts were amazing. So I just want to stop. I don't want to talk too much, but I think I already did. But what I feel is, the books, we don't have textbooks anymore. Everything is digital. And in this digital world, we want to incorporate, as we teach we have to squeeze in like a carbon cycle. What carbon cycle is published in a textbook is not what carbon cycle is now. We have to understand, and we have to give them the facts so that they will now use their intelligence and their tools in order to come up with something that's more renovative. So I'm so much for STEM education, and the teachers who, as these people, all of them mentioned, I think the teachers have to really work towards incorporating all this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, in STEM education, we need to focus on giving such skills and knowledge to our youth, where they can use it to make informed choices about their futures rather than focusing only on the package that they get in the campus recruitment. Now, do we have some time to take some questions from the audience? So maybe one or two questions, though it is late. It would be unfair if we don't give opportunity to our audience to ask a few questions. Two questions, okay. Please. Yes.
Good evening, panelists. I have a question from Sharifa ma'am. You said that implementation is uneven. So, as a student, I want to ask, is there even implementation right now? And if yes, please tell us.
Uneven implementation and whether there is implementation on the ground are two different things. Okay, so if you ask me, definitely there is. I mean, we have done a lot of things. There are a lot, I tell you, programs, activities, initiatives that are related to that. So we have the implementation. So there's no doubt about it. But what is lacking is actually a very coherent, aligned, integrated initiative or efforts. That's what you need. And when I think when I mentioned that uneven implementation, because we have the global framework, we have the guiding principles. So we have all that. We have that. So we have beautiful plans and guides. But what we are lacking is actually what we need to do is, you have this, it's always like, because from this, I'm just giving you my perspective. So when you have something that you want to do, you have this, you need to influence the global narrative, you need to do that, and you have this to guide your initiatives, but at the same time, you need to look internally within your country. Because what is your national needs? What is the needs? This is always about the needs analysis first. So that's what you need to do. And it's about how you're going to translate this global policy into your national needs. So that's what I'm saying. So again, I'm not saying that, so implementation is there on the ground, definitely. So if we want to share about implementation, I think we need another session to list out almost all the implementations and activities that we have. So yeah, I hope I answer your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Helen. Just time for one more question, if there is any. So I don't think people. Oh, please.
How to involve young undergraduates? Like I'm a faculty in an undergraduate college of Delhi University. So how to make them really into the green jobs? How to make them motivated towards it? We discuss a lot of things about it, but they are into their core curriculum only. They feel, this is the real thing I'm telling you. They feel that it is something not very important, it is a burden on them.
It is a huge challenge. I will pass on to other panelists, but quickly to respond, unless we have competing packages being offered by BCG and Amex and those kind of Deloittes, unless they also come up with green jobs offering similar packages, this challenge is going to be very difficult to address. I would like to pass on to other panelists, please.
Dilip, you were very kind, you were very professional. I'm going to go the other way around. What works in India is the dowry card. And it's worked always. Okay?
What is that?
Dowry card. We have a rate card for dowry. Oh, yeah. So an IAS gets, say, 25 lakhs. Government servant gets 15 lakhs. So the vocational selection happened on what was the dowry card in India. Then came the wave system. We have all civil engineers, mechanical engineers, chemical engineers. Now we're talking about green cards. But unfortunately, as you rightly said, there is no rate card for green. Okay, so once you put that rate card, I'm sure people get interested. Thank you.
Thank you. So, if you permit, I'd just like to spend another 2 minutes requesting each of the panelists to give us a parting message, because this is probably the last session for today's seminar. So, if you could just give one sentence message, please.
Maybe let's start with. Yeah.
I can think about the sentence.
Welcome to you.
I don't know. I feel like the education has to start right from the childhood, and the mother is the first one, so she teaches how not to waste. Yes. So I think we have to emphasize on education. Everybody wants to get an IT job or MNC job and make millions. As you said, no one wants to go for green jobs unless there's some attraction there. But education is what will make them aware of the fact that they're very proud of what they're doing and why they're doing. Once they realize that, I think the money does not matter at that
Thank you.
point.
So, we have to make green jobs attractive.
No, I think they have to, when they are educated well enough, like how we all realized a little too late, why they are so important, I think it will work for them also.
Mr. Rupani.
Yeah, my thoughts are a little different. I don't see green, blue, yellow. I see every job as job and an opportunity to add value. The whole problem is about consciousness. We are not conscious. We do not know who we are. Once we know who we are and we are part of the same human race, we are all one, automatically that consciousness will flow and you will be able to take these things much easier. So that's my closing thoughts. Thank you. Oneness.
Thank you, Mr. Rupani. Dr. Jamal, please.
My closing sentence would be that we should think about our vocationalization of our education, that we have literally forgot actually. Because there was a time when we were talking about National Vocational Qualification Framework. It was not very, in the ancient era, maybe some 5 years back we were talking about that. So National Vocational Qualification is to be given a thought, serious thought, so that this green, blue, white will not come into the discussion. So once we have those kind, and ICSE, they take care of our technical education. So we should be having vocational education streamlined as the other education, the formal education.
Thank you. So our education policy need to keep on evolving further. Thank you. Ma'am, Ms. Dehlan.
Our theme today is you want to have STEM for sustainability. You want to innovate for a greener tomorrow. So I just want to say this. If you have that as your end game, so how are you going to reach there? How are you going to do that? So what you need is actually, this is not one person can do this, but what you need is this is a whole of nation approach. You need a whole of systems approach. This is a whole of society's approach. So you can achieve that without having like pockets here and there. So you need integrations. You need that the coherence. You need to put everyone together. So that is the main thing. So it's really a whole of systems approach. And it's an end-to-end process. So you need that in order for you to be able to innovate for a greener tomorrow.
Thank you, Ms. Dehlan. Dr. Bhujan, please.
Thank you. If you allow me, I will repeat a sentence that the MC said this morning, and it's a an old African proverb. I was happy listening to this. And she said, if we want to go fast, we go alone. But if we want to go far, we go together. And I think in this sustainability war that we are waging against whatever is there, no country, no institution can say that I will go alone and I will go far and let the others crumple behind it. I think this is where we have to be together and say, let's collaborate, let's be international collaboration, let's do a lot of institutional collaboration so that we work together and improve the system. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just add one more sentence to that our STEM education must evolve into a green STEM education, as green jobs is the future of our economy, especially circular economy and net zero ambition. Thank you. I would like to thank all the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And I would really like to add on to that, we all need to understand that whatever is the cause, whatever is the vision towards which we all are working, we need to understand that no one is stronger than all of us together. So when we are together, no one can beat us. So let's be together for the sustainability education. With this, we have come to an end of this session, and I would like to request the dignitaries to please take a step forward for the photo op. And I request Mr. Aditya Pundir, who is the Director at Climate Reality Project India and South Asia, to please join us over on this stage and to also felicitate our dignitaries after the photo op. So I request all of you to please take a step forward. So our camera person is going to capture this beautiful moment in the camera. And soon after that, we'll be having this moment of felicitation. Shri Aditya Pundir joined on the stage. And it's actually very good when you say the word sustainability. After that, the smile that you get, that captures really beautifully in the camera. No, sir, now even if you include me. So I request Mr. Pundir to please felicitate all the panelists. Let's have a round of applause, my dear friends. Dr. Kiran, this is for you. Now this is for Dr. Kiran. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Dr. Tabassum Jamal. Dr. Tabassum, this is for you. And this is a mark of remembrance from Mobius Foundation to you. Now to Mr. Rupani. Thank you so much for being the part of this panel. Dr. Swapna Gurla, we would like to present our gratification towards you with this little sign of memento. Thank you so much. With this, once again, I thank all the eminent panelists over here. Thank you so much. Thank you. And now, my dear friends, it's the time for a really special address, I would say.